that I want a full bathroom in my bedroom. Like,
as a teenager?
Yeah. Come on.
Hey,
Like,
Sheriff,
give me
you're
my
making
own
it go.
shower.
And I just thought this was so, the fact he's setting the table, like, oh,
So
mom will be right
sweet.
back. I was like, oh, they have a system.
Yeah.
They
It's a very cute, believable relationship. Like that's why it makes you hurt so much, because you see her racing back, because it's very believable. So like, you do believe that she is his mom, his loving mom, who is trying her very hardest to race back. Like, please don't hurt my son. She's crying. Like, it's just you believe her so wholeheartedly.
as Wes is going through the kitchen and opening the doors, and you hold your breath. How many times the lemon squares? Call back to the lemon squares in the fridge. Former deputy, formerly sheriff, formerly alive, Judy Hicks and her lemon squares. But did they do the cabinet door, fridge door fake out too many times, or enough that
I loved it.
by the time it actually happens, I've already like, oh, you're not getting me a sixth time. Oh shit.
I was a big fan. I liked it because that's the thing. It's like, you're so used to it, that's your perfect jump scare when they come up from the mirror, when they close the door, when they're in the fridge, and then whatever. So it's like, it is the most common, most perfect jump scare. It's planned, we know it's coming as soon as they open or come up from something. So to have that over and over, like, disappointment is like, yeah, we're not playing by the rules we used to know. Like, this is now, like, you're gonna get that little annoyance, that little poke and prod, and then, like, once it finally happens, you're not gonna expect it. Like, you're still gonna have that good jump.
Yeah, he also didn't open the door more to look out at.
Oh, you think mom was still dead on the sidewalk?
Yeah,
it was really crazy to me how quickly, like, what happened to all her blood. Like, that was, as wonderfully believable as this movie is, that was a little hard. Like, what happened to all of her blood? He stabbed her so much. How did he get rid of her blood on the sidewalk like that?
What if it's a different killer?
Could have been. Also, the neck thing. Alina had mentioned there's a lot of neck stuff in this. There definitely is. Wes gets a knife to the neck, but not in the way that you think. Yes, he does. He gets a knife to the neck, and it goes through. Yep, it goes through to the to his right, though. Not the left, the right. I'm pointing to the right. Yep, that's good job. Right paw. Good job. So he gets into the right side of his neck, and it just comes out the back. So it's not a slide.
I feel like this movie probably didn't struggle with the censors anywhere near as much as the Wes Craven films did. And it kind of makes me sad that Wes Craven didn't get to be the one to just go fucking buck wild on it. But I'm glad that he fought those battles for the director of this film to kind of just go fucking nuts.
Yes. Hitch. Here we go. Like, she comes with a
in
force.
her signature red pantsuit.
Hair is just naturally going because she makes her own win, because she is a boss bitch. We have Gail Weathers back on the screen. She is now, talking to some of the people around. She meets Sam first, talking about what's going on and who died, and she's like, well, she didn't like me very much, and Gail goes, yeah, well, she didn't like me either. So Courtney Cox also just looks incredible. Look at her just go up and punch him.
So we've neglected to name the directors of the movie. It's Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillette.
You said it. Yeah, you said it when you said when you talked about the letter, the wonderful heartfelt fan letter they wrote to Neve Campbell to get her on board for the movies.
I don't know if I said it or not, but anyway, yeah, they directed it, and they have done a fantastic job based off the script by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. That whole cadre, whatever you want to call them, they are fantastic filmmakers, and like we said, they did Ready or Not.
I did not see Ready or Not.
Oh, it's good. It's fun. Super.
I have a thing about murder games, and Jay and I believe you and I have talked about this before we even started the podcast, because of Squid Games.
I mean, it's not like those. Like, it's not Saw. It's not an escape room.
Oh, I'm thinking like Truth or Dare, or like
Ready or Not is a bride gets married to a rich family, and they're like, oh, by the way,
it's hide and seek.
Congratulations, but survive hide and seek.
Yes. Yeah. So like those typical like cute games that we played as kids, but turn into murder games. Like it's not my thing. They're not necessarily bad, but it's a lot of sadistic bullshit that I just have a hard time watching. It's very sadistic and it's very hard for me to watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Ready or Not, it doesn't have the sadisticness to it. It's
like Truth or Dare.
Yeah, it's lighthearted. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
You ever seen Truth or Dare with Brittany Snow?
Yeah, and that was one of the last horror movies I ever watched with the husband when he's like, holy shit, what was that? I'm like, I didn't think it was gonna be like Saw. I thought it was gonna be kind of fun. That wasn't as fun as I thought it was gonna be.
No, that's a rough movie. Yeah, that's a really
rough one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
a rough one. Okay. Right here is where all the Easter eggs are. You see on the right side when he's watching like Stab 8. So Richie's watching Stab 8 YouTube reviews on his laptop. And on the right-hand side, it says interview with survivor Kirby.
Yep.
So Kirby survived.
And then at the very
and then down at the bottom, it says, did Stu survive? So it was Kevin Williamson's idea that Stu would be in prison and alive after Scream 1, and he's not in prison because you wouldn't have to question whether or not he was alive in prison in a YouTube video.
Well, not necessarily, because it took place long ago enough that people who are into that stuff, it's true crimey, so it's it could
maybe
be
he's already been released and living in a cabin in the woods like the Unabomber. And is Stu still alive?
Yeah, and honestly, if he was like 18 when that happened, this is how many years later? He very well could have been released.
You, Alina, you and Akron Horrorhounds recently watched Cabin in the Woods. Is that right?
We are watching it tonight. So by the time this episode comes out, it will be in the past because the episode's in the future. But yes, and it just happened to coincide very coincidentally with one of my favorite horror shout outs to Far Out Designs, who makes really kick-ass screen printed shirts. He also had that same April Fool's Day joke. And so he made a Cabin in the Woods design for April Fool's Day. And I was like, oh, wow, look at us. Great minds must think alike.
That's awesome.
So I'm really excited for that movie. I keep forgetting that that's tonight. So
I think
I woke up in a dead sweat once. So like, oh shit, I forgot about the movie. But so far so good.
Have you seen it before?
Yes, and I own it on some version of media, but unfortunately, like that media is not one I can stream. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to buy it again. Oh shucks, oh well, it's worth it.
Oh, nuts! So you do like that movie? You're a fan of that movie?
Yes, very much so.
Cool. How do you feel about Joss Whedon as a director? It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. So, I've mentioned once or twice, I think most primarily off air, of how huge of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan I am, that if I had two tattoos, of which I have zero, one would be from the band whose t-shirt I'm wearing, Murder by Death, and the other would be a Buffy the Vampire Slayer tattoo. At least in TV, there is a sense of, I feel like I can separate the art from the artist, because the finished product of the TV show was a collaborative work of many, many, many people, from the performers, the editors, the sound designers, the costume designers, a whole writer's room, and editors. So that's where I'm like, it came up in one of the online forums I'm in. They're like, to date this episode that we're filming right now, if Will Smith can be forgiven for slapping Chris Rock in front of people, can't we forgive Joss Whedon? And I was just like, I really don't agree with you whatsoever. I do not find those in any way, shape, or form equivalent.
They're not.
One, like,
a lot of head shaking going on.
There was Council of Geeks, another YouTuber, did an explanation. Yeah, don't get me started on Joss Whedon or Buffy, or else it's like Jay's gonna have to go through and like cut around like 25 minutes. But Council of Geeks did an exhaustive explanation of the recent January 2022 news article that came out about Joss, and like all the different allegations and interviews of people in his past, he's just not a good dude.
No.
He, if given an ounce of power in any situation, in any power dynamic, relationship, on set, anything, he will abuse it. He will abuse the people around him. He is a cruel motherfucker. So I don't think he should ever be given any sort of pass.
Cool.
Agreed.
Cool. Agreed. I do want to come back here because we had a bit of a red herring right here, because we are back in the hospital with Tara. Ghostface is in the hospital. She's being terrorized.
Terrorized?
Poor girls. What?
Terrorized.
You said it properly. I just said terrorized.
But yeah, so Richie is at the hospital with Tara, and there is this moment where Ghostface is right behind Richie, and she goes, right behind you. He puts his arm up, very reminiscent of Miss Emma Roberts in the fourth one, gets a knife to the arm, and I believe it's the exact same arm that Emma Roberts has her cut in. So
and he also gets hit with a phone and says, did you just hit me with a phone?
Yes, which is a great other Easter egg for
yeah,
whatever might come later.
I'm amazed by Tara in the scene. Like, her foot's just broken. It's in a cast. It's in like
it's in a
cast.
boot.
They haven't even they haven't even like been able to go through enough healing to put an actual cast on it. She got stabbed in the fucking hand like Olivia did in Scream 4, and to try to maneuver a wheelchair is breaking through her stitches and causing her hand to bleed, and this little girl is fighting tooth and nail.
Yep. And that's a heavy ass boot. So she is pulling herself along the hospital floor while Ghostface is talking on the phone to her sister. And I love this here, this right here, because he's like, you're not going to make it in time or whatever. And she's like, well, I might just be buying time, motherfucker. And then the elevator doors open and Dewey takes the shot and misses. That's pretty typical. Dewey still can't shoot anything. You think at some point it would have got a little bit better, but that's okay. We love Dewey. This, I think, for everybody, for diehard Scream fans, what we're about to see is one of the hardest scenes in a Scream movie to watch.
This fight scene with Dewey is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Not today.
Yeah, it hurts my heart.
It's so good.
Yeah. We also, here we go. We get another hat tip to all of the
like Scream 3 and everything else.
Yes, Kevlar.
Dewey shot Ghostface like 3 times in the torso, knocked him back.
Yep.
Ghostface is in, and you have to shoot him in the head or else they always come back.
You do. And Dewey knows that.
You have to survive first.
Yes.
Get out first.
Yep. And so that's the thing, like, Dewey you have to do it right then and there because you know that they're always going to come back. And Dewey knows this, but that's the thing. We always know that Nev Campbell was the one to take the final shot. So
I would have told you that I thought David Arquette could do like gravitas. But he really does as Dewey. You know, when they said Dewey, who gives a fuck? He says, I do. And just the fucking delivery is so good. And like, where did David Arquette come from with this? Because he's always been fucking goofy ass David Arquette. Great in this movie. His death is awful.
Oh, his death is a full-on gutting. Like a full...
One in the front.
Yep.
One in the back. Gone up.
He's getting gutted like a fish.
Guts falling out.
Yeah, it is really, really brutal. And the thing is, what's about to happen, what I think, Ghostface's line, it's an honor. Like... The thing is, it really fucking is, man.
I was talking to someone, and so we get the shot of Dewey on the ground, blood everywhere.
Yes, this cinematography is one of the most beautiful shots in any horror movie I have ever seen.
But someone I was talking to, I forget who, shout out random person that I'm friends with, was like,
you'll know who you are.
You faked his death, right? You faked his death, right? Dewey's alive, right?
Yeah.
Was that you?
No, that wasn't me. But I 100% agree. Like,
Dewey's not dead. Dewey will come back. And
he'll come back.
I don't know. He's really, really dead in that scene.
Yeah, like there's a body bag, there's a toe tag. Like, it is really sad. And this is why I really wanted Scream 5 to be the final chapter, to be the bow on the present of Scream.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last fight scene, the party, where it all wraps up, again, you're just it's just a beautiful bow. Leave it where it is.
This will be the last movie